That's a good way to start the stream, everybody. Good morning to another live craft and chat here at Fiverific. Hopefully you can hear me and you can see me. I'm not quite sure. I think the camera just did its little timeout thing just as we were getting started. So yay for that. She froze so soon. Hopefully I'm not frozen now, guys. So welcome to this morning's live craft and chat. Welcome to everybody who is in the chat. Feel free to share the link around for any friends that you think might need a little crafty pick-me-up. Hopefully it's a pick-me-up for you all. I'm making assumptions. Make sure, you can share that around with all your friends on Facebook, Instagram, wherever you like. I need a sip of my coffee. I did not sleep very well last night. Hang on a second. I struggled to get to sleep. Is anybody else struggling to get to sleep? I was so tired yesterday. I did so much stuff. And I struggled to get to sleep. I ended up in the kitchen scrubbing benches and rearranging things. And then last night, I finally get to sleep at around midnight. I get woken up by this almighty, boom noise. No idea what it was. 3:30 in the morning. I basically, there's a group on YouTube for my suburb, and so I'm like, hey, did anybody else hear that? And everybody else heard it. Some people felt like their house shook. Now, we're not in a earthquake zone, so it wasn't an earthquake. Some people are thinking it might have been a power station relay exploding, but you'd think you would have heard some emergency services. Nothing. No police, no ambulance, if you didn't hear a thing. Afterwards, but it was just a bit crazy. Sorry, I just got a message from Spanichick, who will probably not be in the chat today. So you are the mods. You've got to pull on your Spanichick pants. So I'm just going to have a quick read through the chat here. There's so many of you already in. Good morning to everybody. Diewench was the first comment. Thank you for jumping in early, Diewench. How are things? Freaky Geek just left a question over on Facebook. Yeah, I think I saw that, Freaky. I don't know what happened. I set it up for 10 a.m. this morning, and then I read your message, I went back and checked. It was weird. Time zone had changed, and so I fixed it up. We're getting rain here in Spokane in the USA. That is awesome, Ida. We're not getting much rain here at the moment. Sally will be here soon. I've sat my son down to do crafts so I can watch for a little while. That's awesome. So probably the same as pretty well everywhere else in the world. Queensland kids, which is what state I'm in Australia, Queensland kids are back to school, and so a lot of us have got our kids at home. Abby is in her room. She's got her online learning. So if our signal drops and shakes, unfortunately, my husband, who's working from home online, my daughter, who's doing video conferencing with her school online, they all get precedence. So if we get shaky and drop out, I'll try and come back on my mobile phone and we'll see what happens. Sally, if you're the only mod in, you're going to be working hard, everybody. Be nice to Sal. Hey, Crochet O'Clock, welcome to the chat. I'm so glad you could make it. That is awesome. You can see and hear me fine. Thank you, Bessie. I appreciate that. And you always have a hard time sleeping. See, I often have a hard time getting to sleep. And I'm a pretty light sleeper, so I do wake up fairly often, but I've got things in place so that I can get back to sleep pretty quickly. But then last night was just weird, because I was dead asleep and I just got woken up by this sonic boom. It was insane. If we get shaking, grab some Tim Tams and level those blood sugars out. Good point. That's a good point. Well done. So let me have a look. Rebecca Nelson is watching the RuPaul Drag Queen Race. Okay, cool. I don't think I've actually ever seen it. I think one of my we rotate through our streaming services here, and we've just dropped out Netflix and brought on Stan, and I think that might have it. I've heard such good things about it. It sounds amazing. Hey, Lydia, welcome to the chat. Darwin says, I'm so tired because I can't sleep. Been up since 5 after a restless night. when I got back to sleep after a little while, it took a bit of calming down because I felt the boom. So it took a little while to calm everything back down. But I got back to sleep, and when my alarm went off at 7, I was definitely giving my alarm clock the side eye. I can tell you that right now. So we've got some things coming up in Australia. We have our Anzac Day celebrations coming up, which is our I don't know how the best way to describe our Anzac Day celebrations. Anzacs are Australian and New Zealand Army Corps, and they are our guys that went out to help out with various wars, and this is our day to celebrate them returning home and our freedoms in Australia. So we also have Remembrance Day, which is a bit more worldwide, but Anzac Day is just for Australia and New Zealand. And so one of the things that we do for Anzac Day is there's normally marches and speeches and all that sort of thing, but that's not going to be happening this year. So because of isolation, obviously it's not safe to do all these things, and in Australia we're in level 3 lockdowns, which means we can still go out and do some things, but we cannot gather in crowds, that kind of stuff. So we can go to the shops, we can go to Bunnings, we can, go shopping. Some stores are closed, cafes, bakeries, all those sorts of things are closed. You can't sit and eat anywhere. All the food courts have removed all their tables and chairs, stuff like that. But so we have a dawn service, things like that. All those sort of things are not happening. It's the memorial of the Gallipoli offensive of World War One. Okay. Is Anzac Day a celebration or a commemoration? Well, I think it's a bit of both, honestly. I do think it's a bit of both. Hey, Tammy Webb. So we go out and we pay respect to our fallen heroes. We pay respect to those that return to us. There's all sorts of marches and things. So what we're going to be doing is that we're going to be all going to the ends of our driveway, listening to the speeches on our devices. I know one friend of mine, her son has been learning how to play, oh my gosh, my brain, it's Last Post, right? Last Post, on the trumpet. And so we've got, it sounds like I've got a couple of friends whose kids have been learning how to play the Last Post. People are making things to hang off their fences and stuff like that. So just to still show the respect, but also be respectful of our isolation that we've got going on. Jackie Doyle, welcome to the chat. The reality is I don't normally do the dawn service. I do normally watch. Abby's school is normally in part of parades and things, so we've normally got to be out and about, sort of doing some bits and bobs in the mornings, but not quite that early, so she's got to be in formal uniforms and things like that. So so this year we're not doing any of that. So I'm not sure what we're going to do. But one thing I've seen a lot of people doing is decorating their fences and driveways. And I wanted to share with you, I've popped a link in the doobly-doo, the description, if anyone wants to grab it. But Jewnny King Designs has a free pattern for a Remembrance poppy. Now, in Australia, we use poppies for Anzac Day as well as Remembrance Day. So if you want to jump over onto Jewnny King's website and grab yourself that pattern, you've still got time to make a few before Sunday. Saturday. My brain is like, what day is it? I realised Tuesday night that I'd missed the midday Tuesday Zoom chat because I didn't realise it was Tuesday. I've really fallen into this whole Blurs Day thing. Is anybody else doing Blurs Days? I'm normally really good at checking my phone and double checking the date and the day. For some reason on Tuesday it just didn't click that it was Tuesday and I needed to do a Zoom chat, and I totally forgot and I didn't. So if you were waiting for that one, I am sorry. I will try and remember to do it next week, however. Jackie Doyle says it's a dash early for her. Jen Homewood's daughter is learning Last Post on the violin. Dywench's daughter is learning it on the trumpet. Dywench says, for me it's a bit of both. I think of my grandparents and relatives and I'm thankful for my freedom they fought for. Absolutely. It's a commemoration. Jen Homewood, bugs me so much when people say celebration. Oh, sorry, Jackie. They flowered on the fields in Flanders after the war, so they were seen as a sign of hope and renewal. Absolutely. No one knows what day it is. I agree with you, Lydia. No one knows. I've been having blurs days for years. Look, I'm normally pretty good with this day stuff, but I just messed it up. Joe says, I have no idea what the day or date is. The only reason I remembered live chat was my alarm went off on my phone. Oh, that's cool, I suppose. Hang on. So last week, if you were here for the live stream, you saw that I had squishy mail. My yarn cakes arrived. I may have gotten started that day. So I'm working on... Oh, thank you, Sally. Popped in the link for the Remembrance Day, for the Remembrance Poppy. It's a free pattern. You do have to pop it into your cart and go through the checkout process, but it is a free pattern. So that's cool. Another free pattern of Jewnny's is this top, which it's called the Sharon. I'm not finished yet. I'm still working on it. As you can see, my yarn's still attached. And I haven't done any of the front collar stuff. I've done the arms and part of the back. And yeah, it's going really, really... The camera is not doing this colour justice at all. It's washing it out so fiercely. And I don't want to mess around with camera settings because this morning, while I was doing this, it kept... my hands down camera kept changing to this like weird blue. It was messing around with the white settings, the white balance. So hopefully it has not done that when we drop to our hands down camera shortly. So I'm working on the Jenny King Sharon cowl, which is also another free pattern. The pattern's free on her website, and she's also got step-by-step videos up on the Jenny King Designs Facebook page, so you can go and check that out. I'm using... Hang on, I've got a full one here. Whoops, it's attached to something. Come back, yarn. I'm using a Cotton Kings cake, which you cannot see. It's totally blown out. Hang on. Can you... Cotton Kings. There we go, camera. You can do it. It's a Cotton Kings cake from Hobby. Cotton Kings 12, 100% cotton, 800 meters. I purchased mine from a friend who was destashing, but I can tell you the Hobby website is evil. We had a discussion about that last week. I'm not even through the first ball yet. I've decided, because of my size, and I have had to make a couple of adjustments for me, I want it to be a dash longer. I want it to skim the bottom of my hips, the bottom of my hips. I always forget, it's like hips and thighs, and anyway, I don't want it too long, but I don't want it too short. So I'm adding in some extra length of this back bit, which will mean that when I do a join on to come around and do all the backwards and forwardsing for the collar, I'll have a whole nother ball to do that with. So I won't have to worry about running out of yarn. So that's where I'm up to on that. If you are following along, someone says that they're buffering. I'm not buffering on this end. I think I'm all good here. Jackie says, I'm trying to keep track of the days so I don't work on the weekend. Oh, I understand that. That link is not working for Freaky. Freaky Geek, if you just go to jennykingsdesigns.com and then just look for Remembrance Poppy, you'll be fine. Sorry, for the Sharon cowl. So yeah, Sally says it worked for her. So used to Zoom, I keep going to hold up a thing to the camera to show you all. We're going to have a Zoom again tonight. If you want to join into our Zoom, so you're on camera, I'm on camera, it's a total video call. We can hear each other talk. It's not just me talking. Everybody can join into the conversation. It starts at 7 p.m. Brisbane time. And everyone's more than welcome. The links are in the fun zone. Hey, Kylie. Oh, whoops. I was so excited. Now I've messed everything up. I was going to clap and just whack the camera. I'm so excited. Thank you for jumping in, Kylie. I hope you're keeping well. Kylie is Fiber Lily, guys. If you need some pretty yarns and I don't have what you want, I highly recommend jumping over to Kylie. She does different dyeing style than me. Beautiful depth of colour. like fangirling hard. So yeah, jump over to Kylie's page and have a look on there. Wench is hoping to be in our Zoom chat tonight. Well, we hope to see you there, Wench. So the other project I've been working on, aside from the Jenny King, Sharon, is also a fusion project. So the link for my fusion project is also in the comments. Now, this is not a new project. It was just new to me, and I saw it and was just like, I need to make this. So I have had this packet of fat quarters, Star Wars Force Awakens fat quarters set of 21 fat quarters in my sewing stash since the movie first came out. Now there's 3 Star Wars movies on top of that now. So it's been out for a while. So I've been trying to find something worthy of these fat quarters, and they have been utilised. Now, after a big discussion last night, because I have currently 42 squares, which is 6 more squares than the pattern suggests, and I realised, you know what? I actually want my blanket bigger. So what I did last night during the Zoom live chat was actually, because these are all ready for crocheting around. They're all, they're sewn, they've got wadding in them, they've been top stitched, and they're just ready for blanket stitching and crocheting, which I'm waiting on the yarn from Bendigo any day now. So that's coming, and I'm going to be using the Bendigo Graphite Grey. Gosh, I'm very washed out in here. I wonder if I can lessen some light. I don't know if that'll help or not. No, it's because there's light coming from the other side of the camera. So we've got this happening here, and I'm going to be stitching it together in a soft grey. And Abby is home from school. That's who was banging on my door just then. But last night during our Zoom chat, I was having a big old chat with the girls who were in there, and I'm like, it's going to make a blanket that's about 105 centimetres one way and 125 the other way. And like, that's a nice little knee rug. I was like, oh my God, I just want it to be bigger. So what I did was I cut up more squares, and I've got another 42 ready for ironing and sewing. So, and I also cut up more wadding. So the wadding's cut, the fabric is cut. So there's going to be more videos of me getting the next batch of them done. So it's not going to be double the size. Well, I mean, it is, but I'm not just going to be like double width. I'm going to make it a dash longer and a dash wider. So we'll see how I go. Sally's popped in the link for our High Tea Fusion blanket. Jackie had a sneak peek of the special yarn that Kylie has done for Mystery Lace Club to help me catch up. Lindsay Shadow says, I'm so excited to see your fusion blanket build up. I'm having such a good time with it. I think the pattern is like 3 or 4 years old, and I really like the idea of it, but I'm not into like the really pretty feminine fabrics that they used. And I think a lot of people are, and that is fantastic, but I really wanted to have something a little bit different. I wanted something probably a little bit more me. And so using my Star Wars fabrics meant that I was able to do this. I'm going to have words with Abby later about what she is doing. And yeah, I will deal with her after the stream, I suppose. Did I hear knee rug or knee rug? Knee rug, sorry. Yeah, Wench is on it. So, and then also last week during the live stream, because I didn't have the wadding and everything, so I couldn't continue on with these, so that arrived through the week. And I didn't have this yarn to start the live stream. So what I did do was start my little crochet doily. Now I've added just one more little round to it. That's about it. I actually realised last night I haven't been working on any of my knitting projects, so I'm really sorry, knitters. There's nothing new in my knitting sort of that's been going on. I'm going to pop that aside. I've got yarn coming to help me finish my papaya and parchment, which is, can you see that bundle just there? That bundle there, that's a half finished blanket. So with the grey yarn that's coming to do this project is also some parchment or some sort of creamy colour to finish that project as well. So I'll get a couple of projects worth of yarn in. I am isolating hard here now. I could probably go to Spotlight and pick up the things I need and want, but I have not been, and I'm high risk, so I'm just not doing any of the things. So Spanichick, did you sneak into chat? Do your kids know you're in here? No love for the knitters. I'm sorry, I realised it last night that I've really been, all my projects that I've been constantly working on are just that little bit crochet centric. Even my fusion project has got crochet in it. So yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop down to our double camera. Hopefully it hasn't gone blue again, and we'll see. Are we ready? Oh, let's go. Oh no, it's good. See, because it's quite blue. I've got a blue table. I've got blue yarn, which I just need a bit more light on. There we go. And this is the Jewnny King. Where's my end I'm up to? Hang on. Oops, I just whack things, bash things. It's all good. Drop my project in my coffee cup. Move that. Let's move that. So organised, you guys. So organised. So I want to hear about the projects you've all been working on. Have you been doing anything different during this ISO time? Or are you just doing sort of the same stuff you would normally do? Because I know not everybody has additional time. Some people do, some people don't. But even if you don't have additional time, you're trying something different with the time you have. Where are we in the chat? Are they making Anzac biscuits? Oh, I wonder if I've got the ingredients for Anzac biscuits. I love Anzac biscuits. We're pretending that Lachlan is doing food studies. Abby does food studies, and I don't think she's going to make Anzac biscuits. Game Widow says, not going out for me either. With that said, a sneaky package is coming from New Zealand. Don't tell anybody. Well, I told everybody. I'm sorry. You should put that first. Sally Schilling has started her first diamond dots. So that is so cool. Sewing is something I've done before, but I'm not confident with it. So yeah. Lindsay says, I've ordered 4 6-foot tall shelves. My yarn stash is about to get an overhaul. Oh, it's going to be rehomed is what's going to happen. Chintamani is currently walking around the Burley headland. Chintamani has been rocking the ply on the fly technique that she learned really hard. She has basically, all her Turkish spindling is now ply on the fly as far as I can tell, which is great. I didn't say what it was. It's a big package. I mean, from New Zealand, a big package. It could be anything. Also experimenting with sourdough starters. I haven't gone there yet. I'm still going the old yeast sort of run on the bread. Natalie Power says, I'm cleaning out 14 years of accumulated crap in the kids' rooms. Yeah, I know those feels. Abby does this thing where she cleans out her room, but what she means by cleaning out her room is just dumping whatever she doesn't want in the dining room. So I've now got to go through the dining room and sort out the stuff she's dumped to see if it's worth giving away or binning. Rebecca has left her local knitting and spinning group. Okay. Good morning, Holly. How are you going? Chintamani says, basically, apply on the fly ricks. I know you mean rocks. It's totally cool. Sally finally finished her llama sweater. That's so exciting. Did you get all the photos and everything done you needed to do? That is cool. Leanne says, I have just made one of the recycled milk bottle Anzac candle holders. It turned out okay. And I've recycled a couple of old chandeliers. Okay. Kathy Breyer is in the chat, but she's just got to pop out for a sec. No problems, Kathy. Oops, I just whacked the camera with my hook. That's how I'm trying a new camera location. Not sure how I feel about it. I like the image that it shares. I don't like how close it is to my hands. Um, so, you know, there's a bit of that. Jackie Doyle ordered some of that Turkish Delight. Oh, so for those of you that don't know, Bendigo Sheep and Wool Show is the biggest wool event in Australia, and it has been cancelled for this year, for 2020. And so I was thinking about, you know, there's some things that are going to be happening. There's a group, so you can check it out. It's called the Big Wool Show. I think it's .com.au. I could be wrong. But basically, it's a group of the stall holders who would usually be going to Bendigo are setting up a bit of a virtual sale weekend with some special bits and bobs to try and make it a bit fun. But one of the things, so I thought, okay, so cool. So I'll still be able to buy yarn. That's great. But the yarn is not the only thing about Bendigo that I love. And so one of the things that I particularly love about Bendigo are the Pud for All pudding balls, Pud for All seasoned pudding balls, which I haven't heard back from them yet. So I don't know if I can order it online or not. And the other thing was this amazing Turkish Delight. And I could not for the life of me remember the name of the company that makes this Turkish Delight. So in our Zoom chat this week, or one of our many Zoom chats this week, we were having a discussion about the Turkish Delight, and Kim helped us find the Turkish Delight. So I'm trying very hard to not order all the Turkish Delight because they make so many amazing, beautiful flavors. And it's all it's just, oh, it's so divine. Anyway, and that's called Delightful Sweets, like D''Light, delightful. And so just trying to be good. It turns out I'm really not good at being good. So, you know, just to throw that out there. Rebecca said that she's been put down and getting bad vibes with them, so I left and I won't go back. I understand that. Sometimes you just don't feel like you're welcome, and then that's not the group for you. Christina O says, hello all, working on the Spice Market Cal, still started part 8. Both my jobs are essential, so my life is pretty much the same. Work, home, work, home, work, home. Well, I'm glad your jobs are still there, so that's something. It is, Chintami says, I am now redundant and all my colleagues are on 50% of the hours. Oh my gosh, Chintami, I'm so sorry. I hope that that doesn't last for long. Spanichick says, we need puddings. Yes, we do. Jackie Doyle's thrown the link in for the delightful sweets, so thank you for that as well. Bub Curran has quite a collection of recipes. I've missed something, Bub. Let me just check on what your recipes are about. Sourdough. Oh, maybe I might need some of your recipes. I haven't actually made a sourdough starter. Gosh, I'm very blown out here, aren't I? I haven't made a sourdough starter, so I don't have a starter as such. But I do love sourdough. I just haven't made it. Jackie says, I ordered the $45 so I could get free shipping. That's a lot of Turkish Delight. Wow. You girls are having a chat, so that's cool. I won't read those out. You guys can chat to each other. It's fine. I'm going to flip for the next, keep going. So basically, what I was going to do is I'll have to try it on again at some stage, but I was just going to keep going until I used up, you know, a bit more of this, maybe even all. I've got no qualms if I use it all. But I've worked out, do not try this thing on in public because it's really hard to get off when there was nothing to grab onto, and Abby is not the best at helping. That goes there. I'm trying to do this from memory now because I don't have the pattern up. That's a bit dumb rather, isn't it? I really should have the pattern. Spanish says, anyone want my job? It's unpaid, unappreciated, and causes alcohol addiction. Oh. I've been reading some stuff about how a lot more people are day drinking now because they don't have to drive anywhere or do anything. So it's like, oh goodness. I'm trying to be very good with my drinking. I don't mind the occasional beverage, but I'm trying to be a good girl, sort of ish. Put Pud's link in the fun zone. Yeah, they don't have anything on their website that's available. I've emailed them, so I'm going to find out if I can order some pudding balls. But we'll see. Speaking of jobs, so sorry I'm quiet, but I'm at work, so I can mostly only listen. No, that's totally fine, Stephanie. We definitely understand you are not alone in the listening game. Spanish Chick says there was too much rock melon involved. I missed something. Way too much rock melon. Lydia says, yeah, that's me. I had a beer with lunch. Oh, face cam. Thank you. Hang on. It's coming back. There we go. Give it a second. Jen says, working here too. Sorry. A shout out to those trying to divide their time. Oh, look, absolutely. I'm hearing some really stressful, like some people are very stressed out because they're, expected to keep their children home from school. They basically need to become full-time educators, but also expected to do their full-time job. And I just don't know how they are doing it now. My daughter is a bit older, and her school has done an excellent job at she's basically logging in and out of digital classrooms like she would be walking from class to class. So we're very lucky in that regard that she still has access to all of her teachers and things like that. So there's a few classes that they're finding a little bit tricky to do digitally. She's been doing a lot of theory for her, what is it called? It's not food science. It's not catering. Anyway, whatever her food classes are. It's not home ec because she's in grade 10. It's just food. She'll probably bang on the wall and yell at me in a second because she's just on the other side of that wall. Lindsay says, I'm hoping I can find buttermilk at the store to participate in the pick and bake off this Sunday. I've never made Irish soda bread. Yeah, I think maybe Google it, but I think there's some alternatives to buttermilk. I think you've got some ways you can get around it. So have a look. Jackie says that she's not dividing right now. She's totally ignoring work because who's going to know? Oh, well, hopefully no one else at your work watches these live streams because then they'll know. I can't imagine they do, to be honest. Spanish Chick is talking about Abby, Zoom, and Rockmelon. Oh, sorry, yes. Yes, okay. That's a Zoom discussion. I don't think Abby would appreciate if we went on with it. Oh, whack the camera. Sorry, guys, just totes whack the camera. Yeah, I think you can make your own buttermilk, and I think it's something as simple as a bit of vinegar and some milk. But I could be wrong, so just have a bit of a check. Because we use soured milk, as I prefer to call it, for pancakes. But I don't tend to buy buttermilk unless Abby needs it for something, because she's not the biggest fan of. Oh, what did I do there? I botched it, didn't I? Yes, I did. Okay, I've got to pull back a bit. Yeah, no, definitely look into it, Lindsay. And it's like you can make your own baking powder as well. Like people are like, oh, I can't bake because I can't get baking powder. And it's like, you can make baking powder, right? I mean, not everybody has access to the raw ingredients of baking powder. It's bicarb soda and cream of tartar. But it's definitely doable. Hang on 1 second. I'll put this back under the camera in 1 minute. I'm a bit tangled up. I'm tangled. And that's making scratchy noises, and I don't know why. Oh, okay, so that doesn't even need to be there anymore. Pull that off. Throw it over there. Into the unknown. I don't mind doing things by myself. I'm pretty much a loner all of my life. Look, I understand that. I'm a loner, but there's some things I like to do with people. And some things I like to do by myself. And it's okay to do both. Or none. It's okay to do it however you want to do it. Sally's popped up a link for making your own buttermilk. Excellent. Jackie says, and the cream of tartar is just a filler, so it's not really necessary. The cream of tartar is also a softener. So it does actually help if you can use it. Yeah, so it does have its purpose, but it's not a necessary purpose if you don't have it. Oh, whack. So, but basically, it's a 50-50 mix of cream of tartar and bicarb. So if a recipe calls for a teaspoon of baking powder, only use half a teaspoon of bicarb. A dessert spoon from the drawer is not equal to a metric tablespoon. Agreed. Spanish Chick says copyright violation. What do you mean by that? Have it anyway. Have all the baking things. Yeah, I've got lots of the baking things. Where are we here? So I just got a message from Jenny King saying that we can absolutely have a good look at her her Remembrance poppy design. So that is cool. So we did have a little talk about that. So that's good. Where are we? You started. Oh, yes. Sorry. Yes. Copyright violation. Hopefully, I didn't do it long enough to get zinged. It just popped into my head. Sorry. Whoops. And don't get mixed up and read a tablespoon instead of a teaspoon. Oh my God. Have we all done that, or is it just me? Because I've definitely used a tablespoon instead of a teaspoon before. And it is a sad, sad story, especially if it's something like yeast or baking powder or something that has got like that strongish flavour. Too many chains. Too many chains. I'm just making sure I don't make the same mistake a second time because, oh yeah, look, there it is. I think I don't actually think I went back far enough to fix the mistake I made. I'll just have a quick squeeze and make sure I didn't do. Oh yeah, look, there's another mistake back there. Pull back a bit further. It's a separate mistake. Let me just double check. No, look, I've made a lot of mistakes. That's right. So single, double, 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 single, double. I think. Look, I'm just going to keep going forward. I think I'm okay now. I think. Oh, absolutely. The other thing to remember is if you're using an American recipe to look up American cups and spoons. They are not the same as ours in Australia and in the UK. We use a 250ml cup, not 200ml. We use cane sugar, not beet sugar. Lots of differences between Australian recipes and US recipes. I need to wiggle over, so in the middle more. Kathy says, my daughter made peanut butter cookies for extra credit in science. She asked the teacher if he could figure out what ingredient was left out. Because aren't peanut butter cookies just peanut butter and flour? I could be wrong. I once made a pumpkin soup and misread the amount of nutmeg and turned it into a nutmeg soup. Oh no, Val, that's terrible. Hello, Lego Bob. Josephine says, my husband once put a whole garlic bulb instead of a clove in garlic scones. The house smelled terrible, but the scones were great. I can imagine they would have been tasty, but yeah, that would have been waffy. Oh, Lego Bob is Melissa. Okay. Hi, Melissa. Hang on. Just closing some things that have popped up over the top of my chat here that I keep an eye on. Oh, goodness me. Oh, she left out the egg. I didn't know there was an egg in peanut butter biscuits. Or maybe I've got a different recipe than you. And could the teacher tell? Was my next question. Yeah. I've done some terrible things mixing up teaspoons and tablespoons, and the other thing is when I double or triple recipes, I quite often forget to double and triple all the things. So I might like triple the dry ingredients, but then I need double the wet ingredients and be like, why is this not working? Melissa says, oh, look at that hobby cake. Yeah, I am killing it. It is disappearing fast. I'm down to this much in the first cake. It's definitely diminishing. And if I made less mistakes, it would be faster, right? Oh dear. So I have been sewing to try something new. What have you guys been doing to try something new? And if you're not trying something new, why not? Not judging, just curious. Like, I understand not everybody has extra time, but you could be utilizing the old time that you would normally spend on your other craft on something different just to give it a whirl. The recipe for it was from King Arthur flour, and he could not tell the difference. Well, that says something. I'm just pushing this camera up a little. It means that you can see bits of it here, but I think you can forgive me. I'm tired of whacking into it. Oh, hang on. One small problem. I can't read the chat with that up there. Kerry Randall is off to work. Bye, Kerry. Have a good day. Oh, I forgot to sort out my nail polish today, so sorry, guys. I scratched some off and forgot to take the rest of it off. I've been trying knitting from Holly Anderson. How's it going, Holly? Do you feel like you're winning? Lydia says, I've been sewing too since I'm at home now and have access to more craft items. Bessie has been making masks. Awesome. So I don't want any mask hate in this chat, all right, guys? Different people are being told different things in their countries. And so if your country or your local area needs masks and they've asked you to make them, that is great. But yeah, it's not the case in Australia. Chintami says, I'm too scared to start using my overlocker. I've never used one before. I've never used an overlocker before, but you have a manual for it. You could try just on a little scrap of something. That's the time to try things, right? This is how I'm seeing our isolation. It's time to try some things. I've got a little bit of extra time on my hands, not heaps, but a little bit. So I should use some of that time to learn something and not to have less fear over learning something. So maybe give that a whirl. Also, we're going to protection, not perfection. Oh my gosh, that video was hilarious. Guys, if you want to have a quick look over on the Fiberific Fun Zone, Kim shared a link for a mask pattern over there. Now, it is satirical, so you definitely need to go into it with prepared. Holly says, I'm getting a little better, but I don't have a lot of extra time since I work in a hospital and I'm still going to work. I definitely understand. Kathy says, I was going to go through my closets and stuff we do not use. Unfortunately, I have no space to put anything and cannot have a yard sale due to isolation. I mean, that is also a legitimate problem. But I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of garage sales and yard sales. So I tend to just donate the stuff or sell it on like Gumtree or something like that. Lydia watched it and it was very funny. I thought it was great. I especially loved the ending. I also thought it was quite amusing the number of people that just they just read the name of the video and started commenting. They didn't actually watch it, and it was very evident that they hadn't actually watched it. I did find that amusing also. I try not to take pleasure in other people's, thinking, but I did find it a little bit amusing, I have to confess. Kathy is thanking Holly for her service. That is awesome. Thank you, Kathy. And thank you, Holly. Got a lot of people working hard jobs. I actually, like, not to diminish what you're doing in a hospital, Holly, but I think we quite often forget that the people who are still in the grocery stores, and even people in hospitals and other areas that are on minimum wage and that are expected to work through this, because they're essential workers here in Australia. We have everyone who has a job is classed as an essential worker right now. And I just find it to be a little, I don't know, if someone's essential and they're expected to work in what is now high risk, taking money out of people's hands is high risk. I don't care what anyone says. Then I don't understand why they're not being paid a little more, personally. I know that's quite topical, and it could start a little bit of a possibility of people who disagree with me. But I don't understand why the people who are having to be front line and front and center, and like you think about like these poor little 15-year-old kids who are having to deal with people when they're being told, no, you can't buy 14 rolls of toilet paper, you can only buy one pack. And then they get angry at the 14-year-old. I mean, that says more about the person getting angry, I'm sure, but the poor little kid has got no choice. They're either at work or they lose their job. And then they have to deal with that. I don't think it's right. I work in the power supply area, and yet to hear utility workers are being thanked. And that's the thing. There's a lot of people who need to be thanked. I didn't see what Spanachik was joking about. Oh, I missed Spanachik's cheeky remark. Come on. Oh, yeah. I had to get groceries. And that's the thing. We've got to go out and get groceries. And with all the restrictions and limits, you've got to get groceries fairly regularly. You can't even just bulk up and stay at home. In Minnesota, Christina O saying in Minnesota they classified the grocery workers as tier 2 essential, so that children qualify the essential daycare. Well, that's something. That's definitely something. Holly says, I agree with you. I really appreciate the workers in the grocery stores and all the other essential workers. That's the thing. There's so, like, I don't want to diminish healthcare workers in any way, but there are a lot of essential workers out there working without PPE and dealing with the public, and healthcare workers are front line, front and center, and they're getting sick as well, but everyone is. Anyone who's at work is at the risk of getting sick, and it's so sad. Spanachik says, we had a discussion asking why toilet paper is still restricted. The shelves are full. I wouldn't know. I haven't been to the grocery store. My husband's, because I am high risk, my husband's been doing all of that sort of stuff for us. Since this all started, so I got back from New Zealand on the 6th of March. That week, it was pretty much things as usual. Then Abby got sick. And the following Monday, so after the 6th, she had to go to the doctor for a doctor's note. Then the Wednesday after that, I needed to take her back, and that's when my doctor flipped out and wouldn't let me in the surgery because Abby had shared her cold with me, but because I'd been overseas, I had to get tested for COVID, and since that date, I have been out of the house once to vote and once to do some Easter shopping. I don't believe I've gone out for anything. I could be wrong, but I think that's about it. Bessie says that the toilet paper is not actually plentiful where she is yet. Lydia says, I think it is just to stop the hoarding. I think so too, honestly. Yeah. I think those that want to hoard should have organised themselves a bit sooner. One thing I have found, I'm going to say amusing, out of all of this, is those images going around of, I don't know how to describe them, But the people who are all like, they've got their own bomb shelters and they fill them with stuff and they're like, I could live in here for a year. And I don't know, do they have a particular name, those kinds of people? Like doomsdayers? No, not doomsdayers. Anyway, but I saw an image of this one particular guy who was very, very, you could tell it was him. He's very, he has like particular features and face, and it was very obvious it was the same guy. He's doing, I could do a 10-month in here tour of his safety place. And then he's in one of the marches demanding his freedom to be allowed to go out that have just happened in the US. And I'm just like, dude, you've got like, you're ready. You've got probably more set up than anybody else to just hunker down and avoid everything, except you're out there doing, anyway, I just find that amusing personally. Like, he doesn't need to hit the shops, nothing. Preppers? Yeah, maybe preppers is the word. Spanichick says they had one store which had a pricing structure of one item as the regular price, buy two and pay 10 times the amount. I'm okay for that. I've got no issues. Think of the cattle stations that usually place a monthly order. Now I have to do shopping. Yeah, Bub, we were talking about that in the Zoom chat. I used to live on Stradbroke Island, and my mum would come to the mainland like once a month to do a really big shop, and then we'd just basically buy milk that we needed on the island. And like for a family of like, 5 people. And so if you live even further away, because that was like, 2-hour barge ride and $50 for a barge prep thing and a barge ticket and stuff like that. And, like those people are going to be, and people who have to really travel far. And I think it was all really selfish of people who were hoarding. I think that's what hoarding people are. I think they're selfish. That is my opinion. In saying that, I may have accidentally gotten a couple of extra bags of pasta, but it was a pure accident. I didn't realise I had some tucked away in the back of my cupboard. So I ended up with 4 bags of pasta in my cupboard instead of the regular 2, which we have now used. There's no returning hoarding either, so those who bought the large amounts of toilet paper and sanitizer can't return them for a refund. Yeah, they're doing that in Australia as well. I don't know if it's every store, but I think it's some of our big supermarket chains have said that. Knitspin Girl says, I wonder how many preppers have actually enacted their doomsday plans. I don't know. Now would be a good time to give everything a good trial run, I would say. There's a lot of people who hoarded so they could sell it at exorbitant prices, and now no one's buying their stuff and they're trying to get refunded and the stores are saying nope. Yeah, that's actually a good thing, I think. It's like, they buy it all, put it on their credit card, make it so nobody else can buy it to try and create demand, try and sell it online, then they can't, so they try and get their money back. I'm sorry. It just means you now have toilet paper for the next 45 years. Jackie says, I got a few extra things I wouldn't have as backup, but nothing crazy, just some packet soup and stuff. Yeah, and like, I don't think there's any problem with like trying to make it so you don't have to go to the store twice in a week instead of once, or once in a fortnight instead of twice. I've got no issues there, but it's when people were buying like crazy amounts of stuff and it was not for their family, it was just to hoard. Like, yeah, that bugs me. Crochet Clock says, I just found toilet paper this week since all this began. If COVID wasn't a thing, I'd have gone out and bought a lottery ticket. Oh, yeah, I get it. I definitely get it. Hey, Yarn Dragons Creations, welcome to our chat. Yeah, no, it's definitely an interesting time. And I think it's also an interesting time to see the character of the people around us. I know I've got a lot of friends on Facebook and they're cleaning out their friends lists of certain types of people, and everyone's doing it a bit differently because they all have their own views and things like that. But it's very interesting to see the posts coming up of like, oh, well, you did this, and imagine my surprise when I realized that you're one of those, and so I have removed you from my friends list. Abby has been removed from friends lists because of her lack of enjoyment of Turkish Delight. And so I think that's funny and deserved, because I think if you don't like Turkish Delight, then there is something inherently, wrong with your taste buds. I threw that down. Like, mic dropped. Bessie's got to go. On call with my local responder in the fire department. See you later, Bessie. Have a good day. Lydia says, I've been running out of fresh fruit and veg, only because we don't really eat lots of rice and pasta. Yeah, we've been having a similar problem. Fresh fruit and veggie has probably been the biggest struggle for us. And so we've probably been eating a bit more pasta and rice meals because we haven't been able to get as much fresh fruit and veg. It doesn't help that in Australia we had bushfires and then floods and then COVID. So we were already going to be coming across supply chain issues for our fresh fruit and veggie. But yeah, toilet paper is coming back up here, but paper towels are becoming short. That is weird, isn't it? Bessie says, thumbs up and prayers for all to be safe and have a blessed day or night. You too. Jackie Doyle says, Claire is blocking all the non-mayo peeps. So glad I'm a mayo peep. Sandy says, I agree to disagree with you about Turkish Delight, but I won't be unfriending. Thank you, Sandy. No, look, I think that there's degrees of Turkish Delight. There are some Turkish Delights that are just outright yucky. But there are also some Turkish Delights that are delicious. Yeah. But I'm less fussy. Like, I don't mind Fry's Turkish Delight. Is Fry's Turkish Delight an international thing, or is that just an Australian thing? I have no idea. That's where I first started eating Turkish Delight. So it's like one of those things when you have it as a kid, you don't realise that it's not the greatest. Spanish Chick says, I will unfriend Turkish Delight. We are up to turning. Crochet Clock says, I'm allergic to coconut. I have to dislike Turkish Delights. Why? There's no coconut in Turkish Delight. Does anyone use coconut in Turkish Delight? I don't think so. Yeah, ask I Wench and Abby if they've got Kim as a friend anymore. Evil giggle. I'm not a hater, just a disliker. Holly says, I was just eating Turkish Delights today. Oh, well, I am glad that this has caused a conversation. It is definitely one of those love-hate things. It's like coriander. Some people love it. Some people hate it. I love it. I think coriander is amazing. Cilantro, for those of you not in Australia or the UK. Is it only America that calls coriander cilantro? I don't know. Oh, I lift it up, but then I make a big pile of yarn, so I might have to lift my hand up, and then I start whacking the camera again. There we go. I don't believe that there's coconut in Turkish Delight. I've made Turkish Delight. The Turkish Delight I made had no coconut in it. Some places will roll their Turkish Delight in coconut, which I would understand why you couldn't have that. But normally it's rolled in icing sugar. So, yeah. Holly says the one I was eating today had coconut on the outside, but I have some others that don't have coconut. Yeah, you can. It's normally just some places roll theirs in icing sugar, some in crushed nuts, some in coconut. So if you get the stuff that's not rolled in coconut, the actual what do you call that? Turkish Delight stuff is not got coconut in it. Jackie says that, but there is an actual genetic mutation at play with coriander. Oh, there is for some people. For some people, coriander tastes like soap, and that's a genetic mutation. But some people just don't like the taste of coriander, and they're the people I don't understand. Shintami says, I've never had or seen Turkish Delight with coconut. Neither have I don't think. Does Delightful Sweets have a coconut one, Jackie? Jackie's already Delightful have a yummy bergamot rolled in coconut, but the rest are coconut free. Well, there you go. You can pick and choose. Maybe you could try a different flavour and that would not have coconut. I don't know. Maybe you still won't like it. I don't know. Maybe you love it. Maybe you just found a new thing. Oh, please don't be a knot in this. I don't think I could bear it. No, just a tangle. It's just a tangle, people. It's okay. Let me fix my face cam. Angela says toilet paper is made to disintegrate with water and tissue holds it together. Hence they plug up the plumbing. I've had Kleenex survive a wash. Yeah, tissues are not really meant for the toilet. Paper towel is not meant for the toilet. Flushable wipes apparently are not meant for the toilet, which is like, what? I was very shocked when I read that. Yeah, they don't break down fast enough. The passion fruit is delicious. Oh my God, yes. The passion fruit Turkish Delight from Delightful Sweets. Oh my God. Someone from Delightful Sweets ever watches my videos, please, yes, I would love a sponsored gig for Delightful Sweets. I will eat them on camera, and I don't eat on camera. They are divine. Gamer Widow says, I recommend the rose, the orange, and the lime. They're all very yummy. Holly says, I have black mulberry Turkish Delights. That's the thing. A lot of people think Turkish Delight is only the rose water one. And that can be a little too perfumey for some people. And the traditional Turkish Delight is, I think, rose water. But the new variations are just amazing. Lydia says, I might have to look into this delightful site. I think so. If you're a Turkish Delight fan and they mail order, I know they definitely mail order to Australia. I don't know about the rest of the world. You'd have to have a look. I don't know how well Turkish Delight travels. Freaky Geek says, seems like everybody's going live right now, but I'm staying here. I appreciate that, Freaky. Who else is going live right now? Stinkers. I shall have words. If eating on camera was the only requirement, Steph would be all over a Tim Tam sponsorship. Yeah. Game Widow says rose and lemon are the traditional flavours. That makes sense. Yep. Marion is here. Hey, Marion. Oh, guys, I'm going to sneeze, I think. Yep. No. I don't know. I don't know anything anymore. Oh, excuse me. Yawny. I'm so sorry, guys. I didn't mean to yawn in your ear. I hope I did not start a yawn cycle. I am a bit tired today, though. Again with the whack in the camera. This is the downside of having the camera so clear and nice that you can see everything. Is that it's right there, and I keep hitting it with my hook. Little one, and then a big one. Crochet Clock says yes, they should probably totally sponsor me. Yeah. You did for me. Who did for you? One, two, three. I eat in the Zoom sometimes, but I don't eat on YouTube. So, didn't someone report Sally for a Tim Tam post in Steph's group? Lol, they obviously don't know Steph very well. Yeah, I think I heard that. That was amusing. Can you imagine if Sally had have been like blocked or something for that? That would have been hilarious. What if they gave you fake Tim Tams though? Oh yes, what if, Steph, you got sent the American Tim Tams rather than the Australian ones? Well, you wouldn't be able to eat them because they got coconut in them and you're allergic to coconut. I'm not quite sure. I think I've missed something. We are still going. They would get a bad review. They would. They'd be like, these are the fake ones. These are the ones you don't want to buy because they're the fake ones and they're not from Australia. Kathy says, I'll have to order more yarn from you so that I can get Tim Tams. Absolutely. If you pop in an order and you've got, I think you need to have about 210 or 220 grams of space left out of a 500 gram satchel, then I can fit in a packet of Tim Tams. Or if we allow for 200, it's about 200 grams for Tim Tams. Actually, is it 200 grams for a packet of Tim Tams? Anyway, yes, I will happily send Tim Tams and I will video call you in the grocery store so you can pick your flavour because in Australia we have quite a few flavours as well. Did you ever try the Dick Smith Tim Tams? Awful. Yes, they were dreadful. They were worse than the Woolies brand Tim Tams. Oh my God. Yes, that would be a problem. Can you imagine the rampage I go on? Yes, I can imagine the rampage you would go on. I can hear your voice in my head about how not Tim Tams they were. Oh dear, I'm sure something from that video will stick in folks' minds like, ask yourself why. Ask yourself why. Oh, minis, and you don't need as much space. Absolutely. I mean, I can always make arrangements just to send you Tim Tams. Like for postage and cost, if that's what you really need. Like, I could do that. Lydia says, I like crushing them with ice cream. Really? I like crushing them into the base of a cheesecake. Like, as the biscuit crumb into a chocolate cheesecake, have crushed Tim Tams. Yummy. Yes. Tim Tams are great. I have no chocolate in the house, and you guys are doing me in severely. I'm like, there's no chocolate. There's no sweet things, really. I'm probably going to see if I've got the ingredients to make Anzac cookies this afternoon. So I might be able to get a sweet hit from that. I've hardly got any fruit left. So I can't even get a sweet kick from some fruit. I'm very sad right now. I'm very sad. So sad. I whacked the thing with the thing. What language am I using again? I have to say, this morning it was lovely and cool here, but because this room I have to shut the window and the door, so we keep the family noise out and the sunlight out. I'm starting to melt. Lydia says, I got to go to the shops and Spotlight. Oh, you are lucky, Lydia. I have been ordering Spotlight online. I managed to hit their 40% off sale off everything, but then also their 40% off fabric sale. So, So we've got 38 viewers and 26 likes. Those of you that haven't clicked like, is there a reason? What have I done? Oh, I'm like, oh my God, I've wrecked it. All I've done is gotten to the end, and I just need to do the thing in the end. Destroyed it. Oh my God. I'm just going to go into the loop, I think. I like going into the loop at the end rather than the stitch. That's a personal preference. The pattern probably says to go into the loop. Marion has made Anzacs last night, forgot the coconut, still yummy. Oh, I think my coconut's bad. I'd have to check. I have to check the coconut. Because it's rolled oats, coconut, golden syrup, butter, flour. Is that right? I might have to send him to the shops later. Well, I mean, maybe. There we go. We're doing the 2. Hit the thumbs up. Yeah. Thinking of making yo-yos later. What are yo-yos? Sugar, baking soda. Oh yeah, I might have to look up a recipe. Is there sugar and golden syrup? Bub Current says I like to crush Tim Tams with Philly cheese and roll them into balls. Oh my god, that sounds amazing. I would like to do that also. I think I would definitely eat that. A, I love cheese, and B, I love chocolate Tim Tams. So there's sugar and, I mean, that explains why they're so sweet. Now, are you guys crunchy Anzacs or soft Anzacs? Because I like crispy Anzacs, personally. Thin, crispy Anzacs is what I like. I don't know what yo-yos are. No idea. Spanish Chick says the recipe that Lachlan has is caster sugar and brown sugar. Lydia is a crunchy Anzac. The reason I ask this, everybody, is because of like the butter and sugar mixes in biscuits. You can make biscuits crunchy or soft by mixing different fats and different sugars. Yeah, exactly right, Jackie. It's like little mini cheesecake balls. I'm totally in. Jackie's a crunchy also. There's only 2 tablespoons of golden syrup. They're a tour and a string. Yeah, see? You guys assume we all know what yo-yos are. Kim, are you saying soft just to be contrary? Yeah, someone needs to tell us what yo-yos are. Don't pop a link in because I can't follow a link, but just describe what a yo-yo is. I'm assuming it's some kind of food based on our current topic, and that you're not talking about yo-yos as in the toy. Sally likes her Anzacs to be in between soft and crunchy. See, I like crispy ones. Getting crispy. High five, Bub Curran. That's exactly how I like mine. If anyone has an Anzac recipe that they swear by, that they personally have used and swear by, please send it to me in either a DM or in the fun zone. Yo-yos are custody shortbread. Huh. That's not just shortbread creams? Or is that something else? Sally says, well, the only yo-yo is the Arnott's biscuit. I don't know. I'm confused. You guys have not narrowed it down. If you have to soak them in your teeth to stop them from breaking your teeth, you've gone too far. I think that was kind of the original reason why. Anzac biscuits were made, was because they could travel and still be edible in like the 6 months it took for them to travel. I think a yo-yo is like a melting moment. Oh, okay. I love melting moments. Melting moments are amazing. I have a feeling we've had this discussion before. I don't know. I really feel like we've had this discussion about the yo-yos and melting moments before. 2 round shortbread with cream in the middle. They sell them in Gloria Jeans. Yeah, that sounds like a melting moment to me. Hi, DJ's Crochet. They're delicious, by the way. And they're made with lots of, is it or corn flour, I want to say. Kind of like Melting Moments, but a little bit different. Okay. Yeah, I feel we've had a Melting Moments versus Yo-Yo's discussion before for some reason. Yeah, I don't know. I could be wrong. I'm wrong about lots of stuff. All right, so who is making Anzac biscuits in the next couple of days? Either today or another day. I mean, I may not get mine made today. Because I think I'm definitely going to make Anzac biscuits. So keep an eye out on the Fiberific IG, because I'll post pictures because I can't help myself. It's totally cool to listen. It's all good. Yeah, no. So I think I'm going to make my Anzac biscuits maybe tomorrow or today. I want them today because I want to eat them today, but I think the reality is I'm going to have to go tomorrow or get the ingredients tomorrow because Tim's got other running around to do this afternoon with the dog, so we cannot take the dog to the shops. Yo-yos have custard powder in them. Okay, that would be a difference in flavour. Whereas Melting Moments have got corn flour. Okay. Lydia is making banana cakes considering I have like 20 kilos of bananas right now. Yeah. Spanish Chick is making honey joys. Oh, hello, that's my phone. I forgot to put it on silent. Well done, Chantel. Clever. Clever. There you go. It's on silent now. Apparently, I'm live on YouTube, according to my notifications in my email. What a shock. Honey joys. I've made honey joys before. Honey joys are yummy. I think I used it in a net sim recipe. So they're a bit different because it's a diet recipe. And I've learnt, don't bother. No, they're actually right. Oh, you're saying Emma should make honey joys. Okay. Custard powder is pretty well flavoured corn flour. Yeah, I think it was probably one of those things where you had custard powder that was due to turn, so you used it up. That's my guess. I'm guessing. That's not researched. It's a guessed opinion. Bub just made a 1.3 kilo fruit cake. So we're all going to Bub's for cake and tea. Jackie's working on some gingerbread and chocolate chip cookies and maybe some Anzacs and working on some bread. That sounds amazing. That sounds unbelievably amazing. Yeah. I wonder if I can con Abby into making Anzac cookies for us. That would be great. She needs the practice, right? Because I just want to keep working on my projects. I am on fire. I've been so like meh the last couple of weeks with my projects. Part of it was I was waiting for supplies. But I am just, last night during the Zoom chat, we had the discussion about how I want to make the squares bigger. So I started cutting more squares, and by the end of the Zoom chat, I had all my squares of fabric cut, and I had all my squares of wadding cut as well. Fruitcake travels beautifully. Feel free to send me some, bub. Oh dear. I tend to eat the biscuit dough before it gets baked. Ooh, yuck. Ooh. Oh, and Jackie apparently is not a fan of fruitcake. And Spanish Chick's got to go and glue some leaves. Okay, Spanish Chick. I know what you got to glue. I know what you have to glue leaves on. I just remembered. Did I not see a picture of some squares sewn up on Facebook? You did. Here, look. So what I did was I got to a point where I've made 42 of these squares. They're all sewn up. They're all top stitched. I'll just hit the camera. They're all top stitched. They're all waiting for me to blanket stitch in with the cotton and then crochet an edge and then crochet join them all together, right? And so I did a little bit of, had to be a bit of a rough mathing. No laughing at the people who laugh at my math skills, because my math skills are bad. And so, hang on, there we go. I'll pull out some more of the colours. And we had sort of like a guess at how much the crochet was going to take up in between. I just realised I didn't want to have just a knee rug. Like this much effort, I wanted to be a little bit bigger. I want to be able to sit on the couch and have it cover my toes comfortably and over my lap and, you know, like all this sort of stuff. I wanted it to be a bit bigger. So what we decided was I've got 42 of these ready, which is 6 more than what the pattern says, right? Now, we did work out that my squares may not be exactly squares, so please don't judge. I'm not the queen of sewing. I'm not even a knave of sewing. I'm a totes beginner. So we sat down and we had a talk, and I was like, well, I want it bigger, and I've got a bit more of the you know, these colors, but I didn't have enough to do this again. But what I did have, I also had some matching solid colors. Like, so I've got some of this blue, and I've got some gray, and I've got some red and some black. And so what we did was I cut up as much of these as I could to get as many of those, and then I cut up enough solids. And then what we'll do is we'll flip them so that sometimes the solid, because I'll sew a Star Wars on one side and a solid on the other, and then throughout the thing I'll flip them up one way or another to sort of balance them out in the blanket. So yeah, but now I'm going to have, I've got another 45, I think, out there waiting for me to stitch them all, turn them all in the right way, press them, and then top stitch them, so which gets them up to here. So my yarn still hasn't arrived, so I've still got time to get started. So there are some done. This is the pile. This is my pile of 42 done, ready to be crocheted. All Star Wars Force Awakens fabric. But I'm going to do some more. These people that don't like fruitcake, honestly, who are you even? I just don't understand why you don't like fruitcake. It's delicious. If you never used rum in the cake, I'll have your share. I can't have rum in stuff either. I'm allergic to rum. Hubby has fruitcake for smoko and for dessert with his custard. Rebecca wants to make some truffle. Oh, nice. I'm having to think. Bub, do you use a traditional fruitcake recipe, or do you go more the tea, flour, fruit one, the soak it overnight job? I can imagine you would make a good fruitcake, so I'd like fruitcake advice, because I love fruitcake, but it's so expensive to buy in the shop. Love dark fruitcake. Me too, Marion. Dark fruitcake all the way. I will eat light fruitcake if I don't have a dark fruitcake choice. And I'll also eat a sultana cake if that's an option. Oops, what on earth have I done here? Hang on a second. Wow, that was crazy. Game Widow's fruitcake has scotch and brandy as the soak. Okay, cool. That works. I can drink both those. I actually don't think Bub's offering to share her fruitcake, so there are no shares for anybody. 2 in the end there. 1 and 2. We are really powering along here, guys. I've done an extra few rows just by chatting. You guys are awesome. Okay, that's interesting, Leonie. You don't like fruitcake, hot cross buns, or raisin toast, but you do like a sultana cake. Is it because of all the other dried fruits and stuff and the spices they put into things, or is it just that you just like sultanas, or I don't know. Like, I'm very curious, because I would have assumed that If you liked one, you would have liked them all, but that is definitely interesting. Traditional fruit cake with pineapple and carrot. Oh, that sounds amazing. It's nearly like it's like a mutant cake, like in a good way, a good mutant cake. It's like a mutant between carrot cake, hummingbird cake, and fruit cake, which I love them all. I've also put a chai tea bag into the brandy mix. Yeah, look, sometimes I need to make fruit cake for people that don't drink or can't have alcohol for whatever reason. And so my soak is normally black tea. So rather than, and so the fruit cake, all the sweetness pretty well is coming from the fruit. And there's no sort of boozy undertones. But I personally do like a good boozy fruit cake. Yeah. Now I've got to remember it's a big one then a little one. Leanne says, I haven't worked that bit out yet. I also love date scones. I love dates. I love date slice. I love date scones. I love date cake with a butterscotch drizzle. Oh my gosh, guys, you guys are making me hungry again. I'm totally blaming all of you. It's got nothing to do with me. I feel like all we've talked about is food. I know we've talked about lots of other stuff. I do. I know we have, but I really feel like we've talked a lot about food. Not entirely sure why I don't like it, because I'll eat fruit toast and hot cross buns. Maybe it's because I don't like the Christmas pudding brandy sauce thing. Maybe you don't like I'm not a big fan of brandy sauce. No, brandy custard. I don't like brandy custard. Sticky date pudding equals yum. Yes, but I believe most sticky date puddings require some sort of cream or ice cream to go with them, personally. Does anyone have a fabulous truffle recipe that I can try out? I want to make it for my birthday. Truffles or trifle? Just out of curiosity. I think we missed a night of food talk over on our clocks, so it's all spilled over into here. Like, that's totally fine. I get it. I get it. And you know what? Like, I was reading, I think I shared it in one of the groups, like in the fun zone or on the Facebook page, maybe the page. And it was a discussion about how people have started cooking and crafting to use their time and their psychology behind it. And I think we've all been doing this ourselves for some time. Maybe not necessarily making bread, but we all tend to like to create things, and not just from, you know, other stuff, like not just craft things, but food things as well. Jackie's got to head to work. Bye, Jackie. Good luck. So yeah. So reminder that tonight there is a Zoom chat. It'll be in about, I'm going to say 7.5 hours from now, so 7 o'clock my time, which I think is 6.5 hours. No, it is. It's 7.5 hours. Oh my God, me and maths. 7 o'clock my time. Everyone is welcome, as long as you don't do anything rudy. And, you know, it's basically a continue on from this, except I don't do all the talking because you guys all talk too. Hubby is baking bread. Nice. Crush Oreos and Philly cream cheese makes great truffles. What do you mean, missed? She opened with Tim Tam unboxing. Oh dear. 7.5 hours. Thank you, Kim. Been bread baker for ages now. Time to experiment with sourdough. Yeah, see, I've baked a lot of bread, but I don't think I've done a sourdough. Many years working in a bakery, I've done a lot of baking and a lot of dessert making and cake decorating and that sort of stuff, but I've never made sourdough. I don't think. I want to say never. Anyway, my lovely friends, it is time. I'm calling it time. It's 11:30 my time here in Brisbane. I need to get on and double check that my daughter's doing her schoolwork. I can hear lots of jumping around in her room and I am concerned. So I will catch those of you that can make it into tonight's Zoom chat, our details are in the fun zone. So if you're not a member of the fun zone, why not? Jump over to the Fibrific fun zone over on Facebook. All the details are there. And I will see those of you in the zone, those of you on the Zoom tonight, the rest of you next week. Maybe sitting here, maybe back in the shack. I don't know. I'm pretty comfy here. So, you know, maybe I'll put something back down on the table so that it's not blue. So I'll talk to you all later. Be good, be safe, make wise decisions, and I will catch you all next week's stream. Bye.